The Lamar DLL program has changed my perspective. When I first entered the Lamar program, my teaching philosophy was pretty straightforward. I thought students learn best from teacher-facilitated discussion. I would spend about 30-45 minutes of the class period lecturing. I relied on the I do, we do, you do model, but most of the time I would notice that my students were apathetic. I had a lot of students in my academic classes who were unwilling to participate in the discussion or would put their heads down. As the program continued, I grew confident in applying blended learning and station rotations. At first, I was scared to share out with my PLC what I noticed trend-wise when I shifted and how the students' learning seemed to progress and they seemed to be more engaged. But as the program continued and I worked with other teachers, I found a voice, and I realized that it was okay to share out what was working. It was okay if other teachers at first were a little bit hesitant, but as long as I continued to spread word of what was working and what wasn't working and showed examples, it was up to them to decide whether they wanted to apply it or come and watch and let me help them facilitate it in their own classrooms. Working with PLC members to spread COVA knowledge. At Round Rock High School, first-year teachers are paired with a mentor teacher. One new teacher at the school was not paired with me, but having grown confidence in instructional coach abilities through the Lamar program, I decided to have conversations with her about station rotations, blended learning, and her teaching philosophy. As we started to work together, we've also began to plan together, and I've noticed it's enhanced my ability to plan as well as changed my view of teaching. This teacher's name is Lauren, and I'm going to flip the camera so that you can hear it from her voice. So Lauren, as a first-year teacher, how do you think students best learn in the classroom?
I think students learn best when they have some responsibility for their own learning. When they have the opportunity to work at their own pace, to engage in the lesson and not just be talked to. They seem to have the most progress and better results in reading and writing.
Why do you incorporate blended learning and station rotations?
I like to incorporate station rotations because it gives them opportunity, one, as ninth graders, to move around, get a little bit more activities going, have a kinesthetic activity as well as like the academic side. But really gives them the opportunity to work at their own pace, to move forward, and also assess things in chunks, which gives them a better understanding of what's going on.
What is your teaching style, and how have our discussions during the day and outside of school helped you?
When I first was here my first 6 weeks before I had the opportunity to plan with Amy and work with her, I really had the I do, we do, you do philosophy where I would get up and lecture. And with ninth graders, I noticed that half the time, especially in my academic classes, they weren't really paying attention. That I would go over a lesson, I'd instruct for 30 minutes, and nothing really would stick. So after discussing with Amy what some of my grievances were, I really shifted to student-based learning. And putting the responsibility on the students for their own learning has shifted my teaching philosophy and given my students a better grasp of their learning and a more responsibility, and it's been really successful.
Shift to blended learning. Using blended learning and station rotations, I've incorporated zines, self-published magazines this 6 weeks, in which the students practice expository writing skills or persuasive writing skills based on their grade level, but they have voice and choice into which topic they want to inform or persuade about. Using blended learning, they've been able to decide whether they want to do the illustrations on paper or pen, or whether they would rather do them electronically. When I started to use blended learning, I thought about other platforms I could use to allow the students to have voice and choice. I've incorporated Padlets because it allows students the opportunity to see each other's writing, to discuss and add on, and to edit, or to even vote and discuss what they thought was strong in the writing or needed improvement. In addition, I've been using Google Sites to create a platform in which students can go through and self-select and choose videos based on a similar thematic topic, or writing samples based on an overarching genre. And giving the students the opportunity to go to these formats like Padlet, Google Sites, and have voice and choice in the decision making and learning has made them highly engaged and willing to learn about topics that they already know about, as well as branch out and learn about other topics. Through the Lamar program, I've learned that it's very important how you approach people and how you build within them the desire to have the same final goal as you. In the future, I hope to inspire other teachers within the PLC to apply the COVA method, blended learning, and station rotation. Hopefully, in the future, I will also become an instructional coach and be able to share my knowledge and application abilities with other instructors.